The face of this lady, Kangogo, finds its space on every newspaper this morning. Armed and dangerous, a killer cop, not new to drama. A story captured on page 6, Corporal Caroline Kangogo, accused of shooting dead 2 men in Nakuru, Kiambu counties, is still on the run. And like I said, this is a face that finds its way on all the papers. The Standard newspaper has the same, unmasking wanted cop, and she is on the run. Distraught, parents of fugitive policewoman Caroline Kangogo, who is accused of shocking murders of a policeman and a businessman, plead with their daughter to surrender as a mystery man who may have triggered it all narrates his encounter with her. A story captured on page 7 and 8 of the Standard newspaper. The front page of the Daily Nation speaks of a policewoman leaves trails of blood and death. It's a conversation that is really worrying a majority of Kenyans. DCI has warned the public to be on the lookout for the fugitive officers with 2 loaded firearms. It all started with a meal and drinks, and Corporal Carol Kangogo, housed on Block 19, that is at Kasarani Police Station in Nakuru, Sunday evening. Detectives say CPL Kangogo and her lover John Oweno were enjoying their special time together when another man came to the house and, on finding the two together, left without saying a word. Well, the investigations are on, and they have revealed the sparked an argument between the 2 lovers. No one at Kasarani police line, however, suspected anything outward, that is ontward, as the 2 lovebirds walked out of the house locked in a bitter argument. But come Monday morning, on an officer, Sergeant Joseph Ologe found Constable Oweno's bullet-riddled body in his car. This is indeed quite an unfortunate occurrence, and to even imagine that such was conducted, in silence, it is something that, of course, we can only leave to the investigative bodies to expound some more on that. And now that we are on the Daily Nation, before we go back to the People Daily, let's also look at other stories that have been detailed here. Veteran editor Hilary Ngweno bows out at 83. He was the first editor-in-chief of the Nation newspapers. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Indeed, we celebrate the life of a fellow scribe. And a shame of the oxygen machine stuck at port on tax claims. KRA wants the 8 million paid before it releases equipment to Kakamega County. A story captured on page 12. Of course, we'll also be expounding some more on the same with the leaders that we have or will have this morning on the conversation. And to a different story altogether, this on matters politics. I'll take on Raila for the ODM ticket. That is according to Jimmy Wanjigi. City billionaire Jimmy Wanjigi wants to snatch the leadership of Orange Democratic Movement, that is ODM, from Mr. Raila Odinga, in a move that is the latest twist in the Uhuru Kenyatta's succession politics. And here, Mr. Wanjigi's entry comes at a time when the party is also trying to broker a coalition deal with President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party, that is ahead of the 2022 general election. And he says, I will be running for the ODM ticket, and I'll be taking on Raila Odinga, and that will be my presidential ticket, Mr. Wanjigi told the Nation. A story captured on page 4. So interesting on matters politics. Also remember, this, of course, had been touched on a while back, should have been Monday this week, where the faces of the tycoons that run the political scene were also captured on one of the dailies, that is the People Daily, just painting a picture of how powerful these individuals can be, whether in politics or not, because then in a huge way they run the activities of politics in the nation. And Standard newspaper front page, let's look at what other story has been captured. Haitian president who is assassinated, and a gunman shot and killed Haitian President Jovenel Moïse and wounded his wife in their home, inflicting more chaos on the unstable Caribbean country, already enduring an escalation of gang violence, protests, and COVID-19 infections. A story captured on page 28. The conversation is on, across the global fraternities. These, democracies that are considered to be young democracies, the majority, of course, in Africa. The biggest question is always what really runs the activities in these nations. Is it a divide and rule from the bigger brothers, or what really culminates, begging the question whether Africa indeed would need an election or not, whether indeed we are mature enough to handle some of these complications that come along with leadership. And so investigations are being carried, and we wait to see then what will culminate over the same. Like we have said, we already have a few killings that have been conducted on the suspects, and others have been arrested, and that is in connection to this assassination. A developing story that we'll be following up to update you. DP Ruto's love for Uganda. We all have seen his pictures with Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as they commissioned some projects down there. So much coming out of that, or many have read so much in regards to the same. And of course, in the event that we have any details, we'll definitely be here to update you. Child is mine. That is Speaker of Senate Lusaka seeks settlement with woman. A story captured on page 3. Of course, who came to the limelight, claiming that yes, they have sired a baby with the Speaker of Senate, Kenneth Lusaka, and therefore wanted some amount of money to be able to manage the same. And he agrees that indeed the baby is his. Probably they will have now a settlement that would be fair enough for the woman and fair enough for the babies, that is away from the limelight. Raila roadmap to State House. It's going to be interesting to watch, while very many individuals seek to take him up or to take up this position, and of course everyone with their own specific interest and importantly strategy towards getting this. We've just read that story of the fact that Jimmy Wanjigi declares that he, as of course a member of ODM, would wish to take up on this. Now, 15-point blueprint in the clearest indication yet that he is in contention contention, yes indeed, for the topmost seat in next year's polls. ODM leader Raila Odinga unveils comprehensive agenda on Kenya that he envisions and wants to shape. A story that is captured on page 5. Remember also yesterday, details of him saying that if he is to support any of the NASA principles, then they have to take a direction of having nomination or presidential nomination processes that, again, he says should be conducted by the IEBC. Whether this is possible or not is certainly a question of wait and see. This we've already touched on, and now we get to the details of what is on the People Daily. And Raila's vision for New Kenya. ODM leader sees a country with a firm foundation for the rule of law and efficient structures. As many would say, he's been on the quest for presidency for quite a while, not been lucky. But the biggest question is, what more can he do? He is already being celebrated for being the father of democracy, or so to speak, based on the numerous things that he has done. That is father of liberation. And of course, the conversations on, multipartism and so much more. So majority have argued that maybe he should just rest because he's already done enough for the country in terms of progress. But also others would argue that he could even bring more reforms in the event that he gets the presidency. Is it so? Definitely something that we can only wait and see. Intrigues as IEBC interviews begin. A story captured on page 6. It was quite a hectic day there, as of course this shortlisted commissioners tried to echo their possibilities of being able to take up the mantle or the challenges of filling up the positions of commissioners that are not there in the IEBC at a point where the country is in preparation of the general election that is slated for next year, August. And the conversation is on. Of course, we'll be streaming live these interviews to make sure that you are up to tabs as to who is going to be picked or which commissioners will be picked to be the people who will oversee the elections and a referendum in the event that at the Court of Appeal, the BBI would be able to sail through, or even if it goes to the Supreme Court, then we'll get to know what direction moving on. Uhuru's 24-hour service order to new city hospitals. President defends his move to launch health facilities at night. It's an interesting one. Many have come with critics. Of course, his critics have also pinpointed at a couple of things that maybe the president did not do right, but he is above the law, and therefore we can say that if this is progress for the common mwananchi, we can only wait to see how then this will be received. Of course, touring parts of the city with NMS boss Badi, as of course so much is happening in terms of ensuring that the city has been transformed. Politics and how Gachagua made a killing in the counties. This on Matters Graft, regional governments in the spotlight. The likes of Ken Lusaka and Bungoma police are investigating how the county paid about 112 million for substandard goods, and James Ongwae and Kisii queries center around a 52 million CT scan tender and 5 ambulances. Nderitu Gachagua on the other side, Nyeri was his playground where he wielded power thanks to his ailing governor brother. And in Kwale, Salim Vuria, and we talk of the lost 9 million shillings in an incinerator, that is, housing deal that never worked from first day. Graft probe detectives investigating suspected money laundering by Madeira Member of Parliament, that is Nderitu Gachagua, identified at least 4 devolved units believed to have paid the politician huge sums in questionable tenders, captured on page 4 and 5. And it's a conversation on Matters Graft, of course, being followed by detectives, and we await to see what direction that then takes. Police towards Sabasaba Day protest, we saw that, of course, and this culminated of some numerous individuals going out there on the streets in protest of the tough times that we have as a people, especially on the aspect of economy. And we had our very own Joash Onsari compiling that report that again will trigger the conversation this morning as to the high cost of living and what many Kenyans would term as an unfair, tax system. So we leave that at that. Pick what my team has prepared. Maybe later we'll look at what is happening on the roads. Detectives in Kiambu County have launched